Channels Television. Reporting tonight.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, International Criminal Court set to issue arrest warrant on Boko Haram insurgents asked Nigeria's government to hand them over for trial in The Hague. All Progressive Congress APC inaugurates interim management committee, says the battle for 2015 has begun. Imo police kill a robbery suspect widely known around the southeast of Nigeria as Obanje. And United States government evacuates diplomatic staff from Yemen over security threat.
On Business News tonight, look beyond oil is the message to foreign businessmen seeking to invest in Nigeria.
And on Sports News tonight, UEFA shortlists Lionel Messi, Frank Ribéry and Cristiano Ronaldo for the 2012-2013 Best Player Award.
The International Criminal Court in The Hague, Netherlands, may soon issue an arrest warrant on members of the insurgent group Boko Haram. And once that's done, the court would be clear for prosecution of the members by the International Court for crimes against humanity. But before then, the court is still assessing the phases of the several attacks by the group on civilians in northern Nigeria. The prosecutor of the International Court says there's strong reason to believe that crimes against humanity have been committed in Nigeria, namely murder and persecution by the militant group. The office of the ICC prosecutor Fatou Bensouda, in its findings, observes that since July 2009, the group has launched a widespread and systematic attack that has resulted in the killing of more than 1,200 Christians and Muslims in different locations in Nigeria. These killings happened despite repeated warnings by the UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon on killings of civilians. Now, although the federal government has offered amnesty for repentant members of Boko Haram, the International Criminal Court is not overlooking the atrocities committed by the group. The ICC targets those who appear to bear the greatest responsibility for such crimes and is asking the federal government of Nigeria to allow them investigate or prosecute such cases. Nigeria ratified the ICC statute on September the 27th, 2001, giving the court's jurisdiction over crimes committed within Nigeria. In the meantime, the primate of the Anglican Church, Reverend Nicholas Oko, has asked the federal government not to hand over members of the Boko Haram sect to the International Criminal Court. The Anglican primate says the nation's courts are competent to handle issues of terrorism.
The federal government has a program of handling Boko Haram. Until the federal government decides to externalize the issue, in the meantime, it's an internal affair. So if they said they want to take it to the international court, then the federal government will initiate that. If they want to handle it in our own way, I think the country should handle it. If the country can punish them, we have laws, we have rules and regulations. Those who offended us, who violated our laws before, they didn't have to go to the criminal court, international court. The court in Nigeria is enough to try anybody. So if they want to send them to court, then the court in the land should do that. And then the government should take a decision. It should not allow any foreign body to take a decision for it. It is not an issue that foreign bodies should come and attend to for us.
Well, the insurgents no doubt have caused a lot of pain and have terrorized residents of northern Nigeria. While some call it an evil group, a federal government presidential committee is looking at the option of amnesty for the group. In this background report, we examine the activities of Boko Haram in the north.
The Boko Haram sect, a terrorist group with base in northeastern Nigeria, existed since the early 2000s, but became popular in 2009 during the sectarian violence that rocked the region. Although it started out purely as an Islamic group, its current disposition and attacks on government-owned infrastructure, diplomatic buildings, and some prominent Muslims make its ideology questionable. Since 2009, over 10,000 people have been killed in several suicide bombings and attacks on schools, prisons, police posts, churches, army barracks, recreation centers, and other public places.
How can you equate bombing a church and bombing a mosque? Can one really give this a name? The name I give that one now, evil.
Are they then evil? Many Nigerians have called for dialogue and a permanent solution to the violence. First, a technical committee was set up by the National Security Council to look at fresh modalities for addressing the security challenges. Then, a presidential committee to engage members of the sect on the way forward.
The committee's terms of reference will include developing a framework for the granting of amnesty, setting up of a framework through which disarmament could take place within a 60-day time frame.
These received different reactions from members of the public.
Whatever will bring us peace throughout the society, we should do it.
So if the federal government is sincere in the engagement, in dialoguing with the Boko Haram, we think it's a step in the right direction.
The danger is, if you do this, when will we stop?
Surprisingly, the extremist group, through its leader, Abubakar Shekau, rejected the proposed amnesty offer, claiming it has not committed any wrong to be pardoned.
Now, to discuss the ICC's move in the fight against terrorism and its implications for us here in Nigeria, I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by the head department of Jurisprudence and International Law at the University of Lagos, Dr. Yemi Okay, thank you so much for joining us on the news at 10.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's important for us to state that this is just, they're thinking about it at the moment. It's just a first step. It hasn't happened yet. But what's your perception of what the ICC is trying to achieve by doing this?
I look at it in two ways. One, what's the nature of the challenge of Boko Haram that we have in the country? Clearly, it's a transnational crime. It's gone beyond that which we could call a strictly Nigerian challenge. And again, crimes against humanity, the way it's defined or described in the Rome Statute of the ICC, which is the constituent instrument of the ICC, is just such that it involves act with the aim of carrying out an attack that is widespread and systematic. Are we saying Boko Haram attacks in Nigeria are widespread? The answer is yes. Are they systematic? The answer is yes. So if that is the case, then those who come strictly within the ambit of crimes against humanity as described under Article 7, 1 to 3 of the Rome Statute of the ICC. Secondly, what should be the position of ICC vis-a-vis that kind of situation in Nigeria? Of course, Nigeria is a member of the ICC. The country signed the Rome Statute on 1st of June 2000 and ratified same on the 27th of September 2001. To that extent, Nigeria is involved. Nigeria subscribed, believe, and in the objective behind the ICC.
Anytime we talk about us, subjecting ourselves to that particular Rome Statute, it then brings to mind some of the actions that have happened lately. When you look at, in terms of the Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir, the ICC requested for him. He visited Nigeria. We didn't give him up. We had the AU backing. So do we pick and choose what we agree to comply with? Because a lot of people say we didn't comply in that instance, even though the AU had said they had taken a decision on it. So I'm just looking at when we say we are party to this and we signed this and that charter, it doesn't always follow, does it?
Well, there's an exception to, of course, we say there are exceptions to rules. But in that situation, we look at the position of the African Union as a region vis-a-vis Bashir. And again, we look at a group offense, Boko Haram, as a group. Okay. And again, we look at immunity granted to African heads of state for the purpose of the Abuja summit of the AU as an exclusion to the ICJ jurisdiction. Then, immediately after the Abuja event, then it could be picked up from any member country based on the warrant of arrest already issued by the ICC. But that's not the case in this scenario. Then we're looking at the Mali axis of the Boko Haram. We're looking at the Chad axis of Boko Haram. We're looking at the other element, other aspect of it. So it's something that's gone beyond the borders of the country.
Okay, let's look at the procedure for handing them over. The idea of the ICC asking us to hand them over to them because they rate some of the crimes that they've committed as crimes against humanity. Yeah. That implies that we have them or we know how to catch them and then we hand them over. But a lot of people have said our problem isn't prosecution, but shouldn't the fight be assisting us to catch them in the first instance? Because obviously if we have them, then knowing what to do with them shouldn't be much of a problem, I don't think.
I think the preliminary report, we are still at the stage of the preliminary report that says, hey, what Boko Haram is doing in Nigeria is tantamount to crimes against humanity within the confines of Article 7 of the Rome Statute. That's the first step. The second step is, okay, what do we now do to assist Nigeria as a country? Okay, pick these guys and give them over to us. That's the stage, the next stage we are looking at. One good thing about the ICC position is that it's amplified the Boko Haram challenge beyond the confines of this nation. It's no longer a Nigerian thing that federal government is airplay, the political dimension. You see Boko Haram being picked up in the house of a senator or the federal republic or a one government town in somewhere in the country. There are several dimensions to the whole thing.